Good morning, everybody. We're glad you joined us for worship today, whoever you are, whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation, or gender identity, you are welcome to worship here and become a part of this community. We have a few announcements. In case you haven't noticed, we have a chocolate auction today after the service. What are the other announcements?
Potluck next Tuesday?
Potlucks, is it next Tuesday? Not this week, but the following week. Yes, the 17th, right. Our monthly potluck.
I'm just gonna refer everybody to read your insert.
Right.
My only other thing is, if a few volunteers wouldn't mind taking a couple of these posters to hang up around town. We did get a local grant for the coffee house, so I'm a lot less stressed out about it, but now we need people to actually come to it.
Excellent. Anyone else? Announcements? Okay. Then with that, I will welcome Reverend Danielle.
Actually, it's you. Do you have the message number sent to me? If you go to your Facebook Messenger, you go to, not Facebook, the Messenger, the one next to it.
Sorry, everybody.
You tap that, that's what I used to send it. Yeah, I tried to send it to you. Yeah, this is the one that was doing the reading and then you got it. Sorry.
Apologies, everybody. The chocolate auction has taken everybody's attention, and so we're playing catch up. The fight against ICE in Minneapolis defies easy categorization. Is it activism, protest, political opposition, resistance? None of these terms quite captures what we're seeing. People putting their bodies on the line to care for immigrants and impede the operations of a paramilitary force in their city. My colleagues have come up with their own apt ways to describe it. Maybe this is neighborism or a movement for basic decency. I like the way an elderly couple named Dan and Jane in one dispatch explained their motive for joining the effort: humanist.
Let us join together and say the words of our chalice lighting. It's in your order of worship. Please stand as you are willing and able. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. And our affirmation, which follows that. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer.
To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
We're going to go through it one time. Yes. And we are going to sing We Get There Together. We're going to learn it, and we're going to sing it. So Maddie will play it through one, and we will sing it through one time.
So is this a protest song you heard me out? Is this a protest song
Yeah.
related to being out
Yes. This song came from the gathering of clergy in Minneapolis that I was at a couple of weeks ago. There were 600 or 700 of us, and the two songs that we sing that are not in the hymnal came from the time in Minneapolis.
All right, so in your bulletin, you have the lyrics for this one. When we get there together, we're gonna sing it through once, and then I want you to follow on the second time. So if you look at the lyrics, we're gonna sing all the lyrics through. No one is getting left behind this time. All the way through, we get there together, and then I'll call out everyone to join us. It's a great protest song, so I think everyone can get the hang of it.
And if you're nervous because you don't know it, we don't know it either. We literally learned it 5 minutes ago, so don't stress about it.
Also, I have a gym bag. All right, ready? Yeah. 1, ready. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. Everyone join us. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. All right, work job.
It wasn't that bad.
I would like the children to come forward and let's have a little conversation. Hi, guys. So you might remember that you all, girls and children, get to call me Reverend Danny, right? But they can't. Don't forget that part. They're not allowed. They get to call me Reverend Danielle, but only you children can call me Reverend. So a few weeks ago, I went to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, did you think it was cold this morning? I did too, yes. I read my temperature in my car and it said it was 7 degrees. That's pretty cold. When I was in Minneapolis, it was minus 17 degrees. Minus 17 degrees. So you had to take the 7 today, which was spring-like to me, and then look at the minus 17 degrees. It was so cold, I had on 2 pairs of long johns, a pair of pants, another pair of pants, some heated socks, 7 layers on top, a scarf, a hat, a hood. I was still cold. I was still cold. And I went there with a whole bunch of other ministers, like 600 of them, maybe 1,000. We didn't count. And we went there to bring support to the people in Minnesota because they're going through a lot of bad stuff and they need some help. So some of the things we did there is we walked around neighborhoods to make sure everybody was safe. We helped the people who have been helping the people. So there's a lot of helpers. Yeah, there's a lot of helpers. So we help the people who are helping the people to get meals together, to get food together, to make sure it got to the people who couldn't leave their homes. We were in a church. Some of us were in a church where they had a medical clinic, and the people in the neighborhood would come to that and get care. And sometimes the people who were helping let everybody know what was going on in the neighborhood. They had whistles and horns, and I brought home a whistle. Darn it, I meant to bring it so I could blow it for you. And when the whistles blew, all of the helpers would come out of their homes and they would blow whistles and they would bang pots. And this would let the people who needed to stay in the house to stay safe, this would let them know to not come out. And so it was a pretty interesting and exciting time. And then later, I didn't go to this because I'm an old lady and it would be too much for this old lady. But a lot of the ministers went in a march. They went to a march. And while they were marching, do you know what the wind chill factor is? It's when the wind blows so high that it feels much colder than it is. So remember, I told you it was 17 below zero. The wind chill factor was 40 below zero. 40. And so some of those people who were marching, they were singing and they were chanting, but they couldn't talk because their voices would freeze up and all that cold air would go into their lungs. So they had to keep their scarves over their faces while they were marching. And I watched it, but I didn't go to that part. And in another part, we were stuck in a church for a while, and guess what? The church members came out of the woodwork. They just showed up and made us all soup. There were 200 of us, and they had no plan to feed us. But somehow, there they were in the kitchen with big pots, and they were mixing and stirring, and somebody else was cutting bread, and that was the best soup I ever had. So there's a lot of helpers out in the world. There's a lot of people who take care of other people. And that's what we hope that we, as Unitarian Universalists, will always be, helpers. And that's what you're going to grow up to be. Unitarian Universalist helpers, and I can't wait to see that. So thank you for listening to my story about Minneapolis. Have a good morning.
It's now time for the candles of joy and concern. You know what? When we do the candles of joy and concern, we're lifting all of our hearts and minds together and lifting up these joys and concerns to the universe in a very powerful way. So I just wanted to, it's not just lighting a candle, but it's a very powerful prayer that we're sending up as a community. Who would like to start? Julie.
A candle of joy for our friends at New Weymouth who are having their first chocolate auction in many years. And thank you to the folks here at Channing who donated baked goods to their chocolate auction when you were already busy baking your auctions. Barbara is very, very excited.
All right. Who else? Susan.
Spiritual for my friends, Lynn, who had a stroke. Years I worked.
For Lynn, who had a stroke. Okay, Susan.
A couple months ago, I wanted to light a candle for the families and the fishermen that lost their lives off of Gloucester.
For the families and the fishermen who lost their lives out in Gloucester. Okay. Jess.
My friend Lauren is having a hand retrieval today, so just hoping that she has a good.
Very good. Rick.
It keeps snowing, I'm done. I'm concerned it won't stop.
A candle of joy that is going to warm up a little next week. Who else? Yes, Diane.
Candle of joy that both of my children are upstairs right now.
The kids upstairs, you get a break. Susan.
A candle of joy for my youngest baby who turned 34 yesterday, last Friday.
Wow, happy birthday. Yes,
You're all right. My cousin had a baby this week.
A new baby, wow. Okay, any more? Yes. Getting married, it's always exciting. Okay, I'll light one more candle for those joys and concerns that we hold in our hearts, maybe aren't quite ready to share.
Let us join together in a spirit of prayer, meditation, and reflection. We come together as a community of love and caring. We come together as a place that is safe for us to share our deepest joys and our deepest sorrows. And today, we heard a little bit of both. We have new babies. That's wonderful. We have a youngster who is willing to go up with the big kids this morning. That's good news. We have people who are ill, who are hurting, a friend who's had a stroke. We have a friend here who is worried about being snowed under. Well, I sit here loving the snow. Sorry, Rick. But the joys and sorrows that we share in this community are lifted up, are sent out to the universe, and are embodied in each one of us. As we leave here today, we will remember what we heard during joys and sorrows. And for many, it's the most important time in this worship service. And so let us lift our hearts and minds to prayer or to meditation, to that which is most holy to you, in praise and thanksgiving and in concern and sorrow.
Now at this time, we'll take an offering for this church, its services to the community, and its utilities. Please stand as you're willing and able for the dedication of gifts. Thank you. Please be seated.
Our reading today comes from some of the things that got posted and are still being posted about what's going on in Minneapolis. Please come up and read it. There you go.
Everything visible?
What's that?
This whole
Yeah.
chunk that's visible?
Yeah.
Hello again.
Or as much as you want.
Okay. In the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, thousands of immigration and customs enforcement officers have been deployed by the White House to detain so-called illegal aliens. But they have adversaries on every block, a network of everyday people who call themselves ICE observers. We've got volunteer patrol people on almost every corner, just watching for ICE, keeping people safe. Reverend Ashley Horan tells 7:30. I'm not sure what that means. President Trump calls them agitators. Reverend Horan, a Unitarian Universalist minister, is one of them, determined to stop ICE in their goals. There is a massive resilience and anger and resistance and resolve, she says. We are not going to tolerate this. We are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to protect one another. Sorry, we are going to protect one another no matter what. Unlike ICE agents with their tear gas and firearms, these volunteers carry walkie-talkies and whistles. Among their main priorities are the local schools. We've got parents and community members who show up and watch at recess and at drop-off and pickup times, she explained. While some parents are standing guard at the gates, others are escorting foreign-born staff members to and from their homes.
Switch things around a little bit, so please rise as you're walking. We are going to sing, we are not afraid, with a lot of help.
So this is another chant song. It's a lot easier than the first one, so I think we all got it. We're gonna do it once through, and then we're all gonna join in.
And we're gonna sing it 4 times. Live, work, pray, live. And I will let you know.
Instead of die.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
says die
instead
in
of
your,
die.
in your order service. Die is what is going to change, and Danielle will call out what we're gonna.
So live, work,
Pray,
pray,
live,
live.
live again.
Live
We're
again.
gonna end with live.
Live. Live,
So we're never
work,
done.
pray. Live, work, pray, live. Okay, so again, we're gonna do, we are not afraid, we will die for liberation. We're all gonna then join in and sing that first verse again and go into work. So. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We will not for liberation, 'cause we know why we were made. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We will work for liberation, 'cause we know why we were made. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We will work for liberation, 'cause we know why we were made. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We will live for liberation, 'cause we know why we were made.
I feel like it's 1969 again. So, the truth is, the reason we were singing those songs on the street of Minneapolis is because we were deathly afraid, desperately afraid. And if you've been following what's going on there, you know why. So there's a lot of UU churches that when I preach this sermon are going to complain about being too political. In this day and age, what's going on in our country, if pastors don't stand up and speak truth to power, we are in big trouble. And so I prefer to remind them that when we are ordained to be preachers, teachers, and prophetic. And you can call it political, I call it prophetic. So here we go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it was like being in Minneapolis. But first, I'm going to tell you what it was like coming home. Because when I got home, everyone wanted a piece of me. What was it like? What was it like? What did you do? How did you feel? How were the people? And I could not talk about it. I just needed to take myself away and figure it all out. Because it's a lot, my friends, it's a lot. Everyone is afraid. And you've all seen it on the news. It's not just the murders, it's the terror. It's the terror of seeing a SUV with tinted windows coming down the street, because those are the vehicles that ICE uses. It's the terror of watching somebody stopped on the street in their automobile. The window's broken, glass goes everywhere. While I was there was somebody stopped like that in the south part of Minneapolis, and they were dragged out of their car, leaving a child behind. A little later, the same thing, only this time, rather than breaking down the window with the butts of their guns, they used, I don't even know what it's called, but one of those things that holds tear gas to break the window, and they threw it into the car. There were 6 children in that car. 6 children. One of them went to the hospital. People are terrified. Even the white people who are doing most of the on-the-street work, because it's not safe for anybody else. If you are brown-skinned or dark-skinned, you are a target. Doesn't matter. While I was there, there's a huge Native population in Minneapolis. While I was there, ICE picked up for deportation 3 Diné Sioux people who live in Minneapolis. Now, I'm half Wampanoag. I just want to know where they're going to send us, right? How do you deport people who were here thousands of years before the first conqueror stepped on our land? 2 of them are still missing. Yeah, so everyone's afraid. And everyone is brave. Brave beyond expectation or explanation. The school monitors that you heard about in the reading are out every morning at 6 o'clock. Don't forget, the warmest day I was there, it was 17 below zero. That is not keeping people in the house. On the street corners, just waiting for the buses, just waiting for the cars that are coming to drop off children, walking the children into the school, walking the staff into the school, blowing their whistles when they see a vehicle that might be ICE. Because might be ICE is 90% definitely ICE. Whistles and car alarms, you hear them all over South Minneapolis. Those are the warnings. Like I told the children today, there's a thing. 3 short whistle blows means, I think ICE is here. Long whistle blows means ICE is here and they're active. Everybody in Minneapolis knows that. Everyone is brave. And I met them over and over again, of all ages. I spent some time in a bilingual church, a Lutheran church, where the pastor is a citizen and is bilingual and of Latino, Hispanic heritage. A Lutheran church, and he announced to us, oh, and I'm gay too. I was surprised, although they're better than you might think. That's an aside. And they have a clinic, a medical clinic run by the college students, the med students at the university nearby. And everybody knows when it is, and that's when ICE shows up. And sure enough, after we had walked the neighborhood to see and to check and to protect, to make sure you go down this street, I'll go down this street. Don't forget your whistle. After we did that and we got back, ICE showed up. The clinic was open. There were people coming for their appointments. Whistles were blown. The church went into lockdown so that ICE couldn't get in. Now, you need to understand that every single person is involved. So the security for that church is teenagers and young adults. And they are so amazingly well trained. Trauma for teenagers and young adults who are taking adult roles to protect their church and their community. And that's the church where they made soup. Now, I don't know how that happened. All I know is there are about 200 of us in this church, in the sanctuary and in the coffee area. And suddenly the pastor comes to the front of the church and says, there's soup. Nobody expected us to be locked down. There were no plans for them to feed us. This is a church that gets by with very little money in a poor community. And I walk into the kitchen area and there's a man with a pot as big as this, mixing soup. And there's a woman over there cutting Italian bread. And I'm like, where the heck did this come from? There was soup for all of us. They went around and handed us bowls of soup. As I said to the children, it was the best soup I ever had. And I think it's because it was made with so much love and care. These people are incredibly well organized. There's dispatch. There's dispatch who sends people out to neighborhoods. You cover from here to here for 2 hours, and then you cover from there to there for 2 hours. These are all young people, middle-aged people, a few people probably a little younger than me, but still old, who are taking 2-hour shifts, driving around specific areas to keep an eye out for those SUVs ICE is switching license plates. So the people driving will call back to dispatch. I have an SUV with tinted windows, license plate from Illinois, and then they give the number. And in a minute, dispatch calls them back and says, that plate doesn't go with that car. It goes with a car from Chicago. I don't know, a Ford Escort in Chicago. I don't think that's legal, but what the heck? No, huh? No. I'm pretty sure that's not. And so these drivers, these observers will then keep reporting back what they're seeing and what's happening, and sometimes more observers will come, and then they will stay, and they will videotape, and then they will sometimes get injured, usually not. They all carry gas masks and big ski goggles. One of the young women who's doing this, that did the presentation to us, is pregnant. And, being the old Nona that I am, I was like, no, you must find something else to do. These are young, dedicated people who are working part-time here and part-time there, and the most important work they're doing is out in the streets at 17 below zero. And it never ends. Ashley Horan, whose words you heard today, can stand on her porch and see where the murder of Miss Good, I can't remember her first name. Renee, thank you. Renee Good was. She can see it. She had to explain to her 5-year-old child that Renee's children who go to school with her child had lost their mother. What I noticed and brought home with me was this radical vigilance that filled my body, which I think is why I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't be around people for a few days. And I found myself, when I was outside, like going to the grocery store, doing this. And then I thought about the people who have been living like this for months and months and months. And I knew what was happening to their bodies, only in extreme. And I saw it on their faces while I was there. In the communities of color that I'm involved with, we all know that that kind of vigilance kills us. And often we die younger than white people do for a whole host of reasons, but it's often connected with the trauma that comes from the vigilance, the hypervigilance that you have to hold every day of your life. That's what it's like in Minneapolis today. And then there are the drivers, the people who will pick someone up to try to get them to a doctor's office with no promise that they will not be stopped because there's a brown person in the seat. And they have been stopped, and those people have been pulled out of their cars. There are people volunteers who the only job they have is to go and to pick up cars that were left running when their driver was pulled out and taken away, to at least get it off the side of the street, to at least see if there's a name and address in there that they can call family. These people just disappear. They disappear. My first day in Minneapolis was spent with somewhere between 600 and 1,000 clergy at a Presbyterian church in downtown Minneapolis, where we heard from community members on what we would see, what we would do, what we would not do, and how we would be, and how to stay safe. So people who have been out on the streets, who have been organizing for months and months, took time to talk to all of us naive folks sitting in the pews with our little stoles and collars on, telling us how they want to keep us safe. And I often wonder in those events, are we more trouble than it's worth? Who knows? Who knows? But we learned the stories. We sang. You heard a couple of those songs today. A music ministry developed out of that for Minneapolis. A group of clergy have a singing ministry that is still under, the only way I can describe it is lockdown on Signal. We were not allowed to share, to take pictures. We could take pictures, we just couldn't do anything with them. You know, if we talked to our family, we had to keep it short and sweet and to the point and not talk about where we were. I was surprised that ICE didn't show up. Yeah. And then the day of the march, a group went to Target and took over the biggest Target store in the country. And it was so bad, good, that they shut the store down. And they didn't do anything but show up. Ministers, lay people, local people, people from all over the country that had come there, some of the 60 to 80,000 that marched down the street the next day. They filled the Target lobby, just the lobby, because, you know, Target is housed in Minneapolis. That's where their headquarters are, so it's a big freaking deal. They shut it down. And there'll be more of that. It's a good thing. Back to the church, the little Spanish-speaking church. The pastor there was telling us what they do on Sunday mornings. They have a traditional Lutheran service, communion, and the whole thing. And then, after the service is done, they put up 4 tables over here, massage tables, and then 4 tables on the altar for acupuncture for the community. Come and have a massage, come and have acupuncture, get a little bit of lavender oil, come and eat with us. They do that for the church. And I'm thinking, that sounds really cool. Sign me up. Sign me up. So there's an idea for the future.
Only if you're volunteering.
No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm volunteering for the first massage. Okay, I'm in. They take impeccable care of each other. They are under a level of stress that I cannot imagine living under for more than a few days like I did. So, what does it feel like? It feels like my body is now recovered mostly, that I feel normal again, that I'm not thinking about what happened there while I was there. I'm not thinking about the people that I worked with while I was there as much as I had been when I got home. I'm sleeping. I'm filled with sadness and anger. I'm filled with righteous anger. As a Unitarian Universalist minister, I am filled with righteous anger. And this simply cannot go on. And yet, there's a level of helplessness. I wonder if you feel it. A level of, what in the world can we do? I don't think we have a choice to worry about that and wallow in that and not do anything. In Massachusetts, nearly 1,500 people have been picked up by ICE, most in the Framingham area. A man was dragged out of his car at a courthouse in Milford recently and taken away. Friends, we will not be safe. Rockland will not be safe. They don't care where you come from, whether it's a good country or, if you'll pardon my language, a shithole country. They don't care. ICE does not care. If you have dark skin, they will pick you up, take you away, and you will be taken to Texas or some other state, and you'll be lost in the system. We have, if not a relatively good size Brazilian community. I am here to tell you that they are at risk. I don't have any inside information. I just know what I saw and know what I learned. They are at risk. What do? Well, as you heard in the song, we can live, we can work, we can pray. And then we have to put on our boots and we have to get stuff done. What I really was amazed at in Minneapolis, I'm looking at the clock because we have a chocolate auction, I'll hurry, is that because they are practiced in this kind of community building, because they've had so many murders by the police of Black men and women, that they already have a system in place. And it just, bang, went right to work. They know their neighbors. They form small community groups, literally little neighborhood groups. And it turns into something huge and wonderful. So what can we do? Everything. Meet your neighbors. Spend some time in downtown in your town. Go into the businesses. Talk to each other. Find out what people need. You do that really well, by the way. So you're already on the right track. Help that old person in the grocery store, this would be me, who can't reach the top shelf. And then find out a little bit about them. Find an organization that is doing something you think you could do, whether it's about the protesting or whether it's about ICE or whether it's about feeding people, reading to children. Find something that you think you could do. And even though our politicians so far are going to do the right thing, and I mean the ones in Massachusetts, call their office anyway. Thank them. And think about, who are we as Unitarian Universalists? Whose are we? What spirit of holy, great mystery, universe holds us? Whose are we? Because if you don't know that, this will eat you up alive. Remember that inherent dignity is a birthright. It's a birthright. You have it. Everyone we come in contact with has it. We don't have to like them, but they have it. And we are tied together by our humanness. This is something that Unitarian Universalists should know. It should live deeply in our bones. We belong to each other. I heard someone say in Minneapolis, wherever I am, I look and I say, these are my people. That's way deeper than you may think. Go to the post office, walk in, take a breath. These are my people right now. Go to the library, walk in. These are my people. Come here for Sunday morning service. These are my people. I could go on, but I won't. And after all that, figuring out whose we are, remembering that we have inherent dignity as a birthright, do some of the things I mentioned. Come to church. Come to church to be held in loving community, to offer your love to others, to pray, to meditate, to rest. To rest. You don't do that enough in this congregation, to rest. To get the spiritual armor that you need to do everything that you're going to do over and over and over again, because that's what is the only thing that is saving people's lives in Minneapolis, is people willing to do the same thing over and over and over again. This is what I saw and what I learned in Minneapolis, and it lives deep in my bones. And I hope each one of you will keep in your thoughts, your prayers, your meditation, the people, because guess what? They are your people. Amen. Let us sing together. Hymn number 1028, Fire of Commitment. Please stand as you are willing and able. Please be seated. May you be frightened, may you be scared, and may you be brave. May you see the people in your life, wherever you may be, and say, "These are my people." May you love them. May you know that you may need to care for them. And may you be willing to take a chance, as frightened as you may be, because they are your people. Amen.
Please stand as you're willing and able. For the extinguishing of our chalice, you'll find the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, or the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.